I was the SPM candidate for 2016 and I managed to get straight A+ for all the subjects that I took. I took 9 subjects. Hey guys, Victoria here. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be sharing all my tips on how to get straight A+ in SPM. So the first tip that I have for you is productivity. You don't have to work for long hours, you just have to make sure that when you're working, you're giving it your 100%. Put your phone on airplane mode or put your phone away, or download apps like Forest or Tide to keep you always focused. You should also know when you are most productive, whether you're a morning person or a night owl, so that you can make good use of that time and get the work done. To increase your productivity when you're studying, you can also use the Pomodoro technique, which is basically when you work for 25 minutes and then you take a 5 minutes break, and this cycle will go on for 4 times before you get a longer break like 20 minutes. So the theory behind this Pomodoro technique is that our brain has only an attention span of 25 to 30 minutes. After around 30 minutes, your concentration will just go downhill from there, and anything that you read, your brain will not be able to absorb. I use the Pomodoro technique to study whenever I can, and I'm going to make a video on Pomodoro technique soon, so stay tuned for that. The second tip that I have for you is motivation. We need to want to succeed so that we will work harder towards our goal. So to achieve this, I recommend that you have a short-term and a long-term goal. A short-term goal would be what you want to achieve for your SPM, like whether you want straight A's or a specific grade for each subject. A long-term goal, on the other hand, is what you want to be in the future, what your ambition is, what pushes you to work harder so that you can succeed. I recommend writing your short-term and long-term goal onto sticky notes, and you can put the sticky notes around your workspace so that you see it constantly and it motivates you to work even harder towards that goal. The key here is to aim high. It does not matter what you got for your UPSR or for your PT3. Just put in the hard work now and the results will show in your SPM. Tip number 3 is to understand as you go along. You do not have to fully understand it when you are sitting in class, but you have to kind of know what is going on, and then within that week try to understand it. If you find certain topics really tough, you can ask for help from your teachers or your friends. Chances are they are more than willing to help you. And if you are good at something, be willing to teach it to others because it will help you to remember better. When you're teaching something to someone, you're actually making sure that you really understand it so that you can break it down for the person to understand it easier. So basically, you're helping others and yourself. When you're doing revision, you want to be revisiting something which you have already learned and not learning it for the first time, because there's no time for that. You just have to make sure that you understand as you go along. Tip number 4 is to always make to-do lists. I have one right here. This is my current to-do list. Having to-do list can really help prevent stress because you know that everything you need to do is in that list. You just have to get it done one by one and you won't miss out a single thing. To-do list is also a way to motivate yourself to get more things done, because when you finish a task and you tick it off your list, you will feel so good and you will want to feel that way. Tip number 5 is past year questions. Past year questions are so important, especially for subjects like biology, maths and sejarah. If you have done enough past year questions for maths, you will figure out that the figures are just rotating, the questions are the same, the figures are just changing a little bit. And so if you can finish the past years, then getting an A+ in maths for SPM will not be a problem for you. As for sejarah, I know there are a lot of things to memorize, but if you do the past years and then you refer to the answers, you'll see that some points are more important than the others, so you can just focus on those points when you are making your notes. Past year questions can really work wonders, so make sure that you get them all done before trials. After trials, you can get all the trial papers from all the states from the internet, and you can learn from them, because the trials from states, they kind of predict what will come out for SPM. So if you get those trials done, then you're good to go. Tip number 6 is to study smarter and not harder. So for this, you can make good use of flashcards and acronyms. So my flashcards are right here. I still make flashcards for subjects like biology and chemistry in uni. Flashcards are extremely useful for revision. This is because when you are making flashcards, your brain is actively trying to pull out the most important information, and you are already learning from that. When you are revising your flashcards, you are only reading the most important points, and your brain can remember it this way better. Acronyms is when you use the initials of all the things that you want to memorize, and you make it into either a sentence or a word so that you can memorize them easier. A very common example of acronym is the way you memorize the colors in a rainbow. For example, I use this acronym, Roy gave birth in Vietnam, to memorize all the colors in the rainbow. And you can apply this to all the chemical processes or whatever that you have to memorize for science subjects especially. Tip number 7 is to always get enough sleep, especially when you're approaching the exam season. Don't burn the midnight oil because it's really not worth it. If you stay up late the day before SPM to study, then your brain won't be able to focus that well when you're in exam hall the next day. So there are some things that you might know, but you just couldn't remember because your brain couldn't focus. You're just too sleepy to recall anything. Just go to bed and have a good night's rest so that you are in your best condition when you are taking the test the next day. The last tip that I have for you, and it's the most important one, is consistency. I recommend starting your revision on the January of Form 4 itself so that you can cover your syllabus in time and you don't have to stress out. If you are in Form 5 and you are still unsure of some of the things that you have learned in Form 4, then it's time to put in the effort to understand them. If you stumble across this video, then it's probably a sign from the universe asking you to start your revision now. Anyways, I hope you found these tips helpful, and all the best for your preparation towards SPM. If you want more videos on study tips from me, then be sure to give this video a thumbs up so that I know you like my content, and I'll keep making more of this. Also, you can hit the subscribe button to stay notified when I post new videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Still some things in Form 4 that you are not 100% sure of, then you should start getting help